Today, I am joined by Baz Nicholls of the new wave of British heavy metal band More. They have a new record out now, Destructor. Baz, how's it going, man? Nice to see you.
Hi there, Brandon. Yeah, it's nice to see you. The album's going really well at the moment. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome, awesome. So, to get into Destructor, how did this record come to be?
I think it's 2010. Chris Sangarides joined the band. That was after Kenny Cox had had six strokes, and the band was pulled at that stage. But anyway, Chris came on board, and we worked together. And then after a year or two, we decided to get some songs together and to do an album. So that's what we did. Yeah, it came about basically because Chris had the studio and is a renowned producer. I helped him build his studio. So when he had free time, we would go in and we would put a track down, two tracks at a time or whatever. And then after a year or so, we had a complete album. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so it's been in the works for, you'd say, like what, 15 years now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
It's
started
almost a
it,
song a year.
way
Yeah.
back. Yeah, it developed over the time that we were playing in the band together. We
Right.
um we we had two or three older tracks which were demoed by the band more, but had never been produced. So we did those on the album as well. So we had so we could join the band to the old band, if you know what I mean. So it was it was a story of the band over the last 40 years almost.
Awesome. So you mentioned those demo tracks. What specific tracks are you referring to?
Right. Well, two that people seem to like is Scream and My Obsession. We did those in 2000. That's right, in the year 2000. But there was also another one called More, which is the last track on the album, which goes way back 2000 and no 1980 or something. Yeah, so as I say, the album spans quite a timeline, but
Wow,
yeah,
1980. That's that's like
1980 odd. I joined the band in 82. I joined
uh-huh.
to promote the album Blood and Thunder. So,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
yeah, a few years after
And
that.
and Trickster, was that the first song you were on? Like
That
recorded
was the
on?
one. That was the one that I recorded with the old band. Yes, because
Yes.
I joined, as I say, they just completed Blood and Thunder album,
Yeah.
and then we got a call from the record label a few months later saying they'd like us to do a commercial type single. That's why we did Trickster. It's more commercial than what we used to do, and then we put up a beefed up version of Hey Joe on the reverse, on the B side. So yeah, and that's how that came about.
Interesting. Now, I'd love to talk about the old days for sure, but I'd love
Yeah.
to know your opinion. Like, how do you feel Destructor stands out when comparing it to like past More material?
Well, it's an eclectic mix of songs, obviously. In fact, more is the older style, and yeah, it's what can I say? It's very difficult to describe, and we were worried that everybody was going to expect everything like it was in the 80s. Well, it's not. The band has progressed, and things have progressed, and I think there's a bit more. Let's say writing ability on this on this new album than there was on the earlier ones. The earlier band were brilliant. I loved the band, and I had to take the place of Brian Day, who was a brilliant bass player, and it was a tough act to follow, but that's it. No, so um, yeah, and when you've got somebody like Chris Sangarides producing it, who's done people like Malmsteen and Thin Lizzy and people like that. It's going to be different from More anyway, even in the production, and it's a bigger sound. But yeah, it's still got that metal about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned the production. Did you guys have any hands-on production with this? Did you guys have any say in the production, or was it completely hands off? You do you. We trust you with the production. How did that look?
Well, a lot of it was we trusted Chris, but I saw Chris work in the studio all the time with loads of bands that would come in, famous names that would come in, and his big strength was man management. It was brilliant to see. People would go in there, and even the best players would sometimes not be able to get things right. So you say, let's take 5 minutes and take the pressure off that guy. Come back, it's done. He did so much like that. But yes, we did have a say on things, as well. On the track, Wolf Behind Your Eyes, I said I wanted the moody bit with all the thunder and lightning and everything at the beginning and end to give it a bit of atmosphere. And he went with things like that. Yeah, so we all did have a little bit of an input, but mainly it was down to his ear. And the way Chris used to record was, if you lay it down right, it will sound right. So people had to play it right in the first place. There was very little trickery on that album, I can assure you.
Awesome. Cool to hear, man. Now you touched on it a little bit, but I'd love for you to really dive into what did the recording process look like for this record?
He would call us in because obviously it depended on his downtime in the studio. Because when he was in downtime, he would call us in. There'd been me on the bass and Steve on the drums. Chris would be playing guitar, and if Dave was about, he would come in as well. But we would lay the bass and the drums down, and all the tracks were laid down in no more than 2 takes, apart from one track, which was one of the simplest tracks. That was what's the third track? Yes, hang on, I've got my copy here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got some notes.
No, no, sorry, it was a second track, Rock Wheel. So yeah, that one took but some of the stuff we went in and we put them down first track near them, the bass of the drums.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then of course then we had guy guitar and things on. So people put down more guy guitars. Dave would come in and put his his guitars down and his solos. Chris did 2 solos. He did Scream and My Obsession. The other solos were basically Dave. Um, and then when we got a basic mix like that, in would come Mike, and he would have been fed these, and he would rehearse up his vocals, and he would come in to do the vocals, and we put any any harmonies and things down as well at the same time. And that was a process, and then it was left for Chris to stir it a bit, and yeah, sort it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe you guys are unsigned for this release. So how did you go about navigating putting this album together like independently?
Before Chris passed away, he had already asked this guy, Dan McConomy, who hails from Paris, and he was going to manage the band, and yeah, he's very well known. So once we had decided to actually go for it, I had a word with Chris's widow, Jane Sangrides, and she contacted Dan on our behalf, and Dan came on board. He not only is managing the band now, but he's executive producer. So he took it and literally picked it up by the scruff of its neck and got it done for us. Because when I was in the band, the management did everything. So I didn't have a clue on that side of it. So anyway, we're getting all the business side together now. And Dan McConomy, he sent it out to Mal Applebaum in Los Angeles to get it mastered. He said it needs mastering because we didn't know at what stage it had got to on the mixing and that when Chris left it, because he died suddenly. It was a shame. And yeah, so he picked it up. It went out there. It come back. It's brilliant. The mix on it is great. And yeah, from there, he's been taking the lead and we've been setting up all the companies and bits and pieces around it. So yeah, it's coming along very well.
It's great to hear that, this came out. I know the band, this is like the third record, which is crazy. A band that started in 79. It's
Final
Jesus.
Tap on
Right.
it.
And I'm happy, man, because the music's so great. And so what is your view and like your opinion on why it took so long to get that third album?
Well, initially, because when we broke up in after the Atlantic dropped us in the 80s, 82, 83, and we lost our vocalist. We found it very difficult to get a vocalist who could stand up to the racket that was being played behind him because Kenny was so loud, and you had to have a punch vocalist. And we tried for years to get a good vocalist, and anyway, yeah, we had two or three lineups, and then Kenny went off and did Mammoth, the band Mammoth, and then we got back together in 1998. That's right. And Andy on drums, me on bass, and Kenny. We just walked into the studio in Croydon. We hadn't played together, us three together, for 13 years. We went in, we had a set list, and we played it note perfect straight off. It was unbelievable. And after that, we looked at each other and said, "Shall we do it again?" That was it. Yeah.
Simple as that.
And at that rehearsal studio, which is in the basement of a music shop, we asked the owner if he knew of any vocalists, and he knew of Mike Freeland. So that's where Mike came on board through that. Yeah, it all happened by chance. It was all meant to happen.
Very, very cool to hear some of the history here because, like,
Yeah, yeah,
I have some notes and you guys are on Metal Archives as well, and a
yeah.
lot of it's definitely like not looking at it
A lot of it's
now,
wrong.
it's very wrong.
It is.
Right.
I was there.
Yes. So, it's cool learning about a lot of the history, and I'd love for you to also like get into uh um talk about the first time you joined the band. Like, what was that
Ah,
like? What was your
right.
introduction to More?
Well, I will give you the long version
Do it.
if you
Yeah.
like.
The
Yeah.
stage is yours.
Right. Okay. So, oh, dear me. Yeah. At the back end of 1981, um, two friends of mine, Ian Miller and Phil Hearn, and myself and we built a little studio over in Essex Road, North London, just for our own amusement and do our own stuff. And Phil Hearn worked for a PA company, touring company, all the staging company, great big company called Joe Brown. And working in there was this carpenter called Mick Stratton. And so he wanted to come into our studio. I just put down a couple of acoustic numbers, acoustic guitar and sing. We said, yeah, okay. So he came in and he put one track down and it went okay. And then he walked away. So we looked at each other and we bounced it down. And then Phil, who was a bass player, a very good bass player, said to me, bung a bass slide down. So, okay, I put a bass slide down. And Ian, who was a guitarist, put a guitar track down. And we had this really heavy drummer. He came in and put this really heavy drum track down as well. And anyway, when he come back to do the second one, we said, "Oh yeah, we'll play you the first one first." And there was this complete production, and he went, "Oh," he didn't believe it. Anyway, I did a little bit of recording with him on a live recording somewhere, and that was it. It was just a friend of a friend. Then I got a call out of the blue suddenly. It was from Kenny. Would I like to audition for the band More? Pod. So it's just out the blue, just like that. So I said yes, please, and went to change my trousers. Yeah. So no, so he was yeah. So I went and did the audition, got it, and that's how it started.
Yeah. So,
It was just
were there
tight.
other people auditioning? Was it just you?
No, just me
Just you.
yeah, because he was a friend of Kenny's apparently, and Mick Stratton, and he'd obviously played the track. He said, "Oh yeah," he said, "You know, I know this bass player," and that was it. And I just happened to get the job.
Wow, just
It's just
simple as that.
that's what. Again, you know, it is just fortune. You know, it was meant to happen.
Yeah. And what year was that specifically?
1982, I joined.
82. Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of rehearsals. Then we did one gig, yeah, and we even had a sound stage at well, where was it there? Over West London, and we did PA and lights and everything, you know. And and then we did a gig at the Marquee, one gig at the Marquee in London, and then we was off on a European tour. That was my baptism.
Yes. So, how do you remember those like first few gigs? Like, how did they go?
Yeah, yeah, fine. You know, yeah, I like the one that, yeah, I like the one that at the Marquee. That was good. It was my birthday, believe it or not.
Awesome.
And
Birthday show. Nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Usually
yeah,
the
but
usually the
after
best ones.
yeah, but we did just have fun in the band. So after the gig, we were going to go over to steakhouse and have some food and that, you know, as it was my birthday. And as I stepped out the car, out of the venue, they custard pied me in the face.
A happy birthday. Welcome to
That
the
was my
band.
introduction to the band.
That's awesome. And you're talking about that tour. Who was that with?
Who was it?
Your first tour. Weren't you
No, we headlined it. We
Oh,
headlined it,
got it. Yeah.
and we had local band support. So that was yeah, that was
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
I know Moore has toured with like Sabbath, Maiden, I believe.
yeah,
Um,
made than that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. When was that Sabbath tour? I didn't really find anything on that.
I've not heard of Saboteur. They actually did one at the Hammersmith Odeon just before I joined a gig where all the pyrotechnics of Black Sabbath blew up all the speakers, all our
Yeah.
speakers. Apparently, that didn't go down too well. So that's all I know. No,
Yeah.
that was before my time, unfortunately.
Right. Now, looking back at the material prior, to you
Yeah.
joining, how do you look at that material? What are your thoughts on the songs on those first two records?
Well, yeah. Although I was into rock and blues more than heavy metal, it was a slight departure, but yeah, I really enjoyed getting into it. But the thing was, Kenny brought me tape, this old cassette tape, brown cassette tape, which is terrible quality anyway, and handed it to me at my house and said, "Learn those songs in a fortnight and come and have an audition." And there was no bass on there hardly, you know, it's terrible quality.
It's a write your
So
own
yeah,
parts.
yeah. So I did my best, and I still got the job. So yeah, so that was that.
Yeah. So, how do you recall like the band has like been on and off. I feel like it's broken
Yeah,
up, reunited so many times.
yeah.
What do you think makes this era so strong that we're currently in?
Well, I think because the core of the band get on so well together, you know, and especially me and the drummer, you know, which is the rhythm section, and in a three piece plus vocals is very important. But yeah, I get on very well with the drummer, and we click, and yeah, it's tight, which is good, you know. Yeah, and we got a new guitarist in there, Peter. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, you know. I like people who are straight and to the point and don't prevaricate, you know. Yeah, so we get on well. And Mike, he's just a little sweetie, really. That's what I can say. No, he's great. He's the front man, but when he's not being the front man, he's as quiet as a mouse.
He's killer, man. I've seen like on YouTube people put like live videos up.
Yeah,
He nails it. Just such a
yeah.
solid lineup right now. Really
Yeah,
great.
it is good fun, yeah, as well, you know. So no, we do work hard in rehearsals. That's the thing. That's when people have joined the band. In fact, when Mike first joined, and we had this heavy drummer, the guy who did the sample for Mick Stratton, we used to rehearse every Saturday and Sunday for a year, and I mean flat out, because that's what we were used to, Kenny and I, and that's why I'm deaf now. And it's, but yeah, everything has got to be right, and it, it doesn't happen by accident. It's just sheer hard work. And they were going on to us, Mike and the drummer was saying, "Well, how long is it going to take?" And Kenny and I told them, "One day we will come in here and we will do it, and you will know that it's right." One weekend we went in on the Saturday. We had a terrible Saturday rehearsal. It was absolutely, well, it just wasn't working. We walked in on the Sunday, just set up, switched everything on, boom, the whole set.
Oh,
Everything was right. Every cue, every note, everything was perfect. And when we stopped, they said, "Ah, we see what you mean." And that's what we try to do. We try to do the hard work in the rehearsals so that when we play, we can relax and we can just play.
it really goes to show, and
Yeah,
like listening to, these bootlegs live and stuff on
yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
it's like, wow, the band is so tight,
That's right. That's
for
right.
being around for so long and with all the breakups and everything, this
Yeah.
band is in such
No,
a
no,
good
no,
place right now. It really
no,
is.
no, no, no. We still use the same philosophy. In fact, when Peter came into the band, I won't tell you our secrets, but when Peter came into the
Okay.
band, he can play. But after two or three rehearsals, I said, it's still you and us." And once he got it and he sat in on the tracks, it's great. But once you get what we do, yeah, it's meant to sound tight. It's the thing is, it's not so much always what you put in, it's what you leave out
For sure.
to make it tight. And yeah, just all the little tricks that we do. That's it.
Yeah. Now, with how well this band is performing right now, have you thought about putting out like a live record? You only have 3 albums out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's always, yeah. I'll tell you where we are at the moment. We are putting all the business stuff together at the moment, and we're looking at doing a couple of videos, promo videos and things. And yeah, we'll be looking at live stuff. But yeah, the main thing is to get this album out. It's going to go on general release in March. And to back that up, we're going to have a big merch store and everything. So it's all being done business-wise at the moment. It's a pain, but there you are. But over Christmas, that's the deal.
It's the time to do it.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yes, you, we've got to get the foundations right, so that we can continue. Yeah, there will be the chance to do some live stuff, yeah. But our first gig was actually with this lineup we did down in Dover, which is near to us, and that was backing the ex-AC/DC drummer, the Chris Slade timeline, and we'd never played together, and yeah, we went down well, and yeah, and it was a really good gig. But we'd
Awesome.
work hard. We'd work hard in the rehearsal studio. See, that's the point.
Yeah, and it shows, man. It really does. Now, Destructor, when it comes to like touring a record, have you looked at that yet? Like mapped out what a tour looks like? Do you ever see more also like coming to the US at any
Oh
point in
yeah,
the future? Oh yeah.
invite me over. I'll be there.
I'll send you a
I'll swim.
postcard.
I'll swim if you like.
Yes, come to
No,
Boston.
right. No, I'll tell you, the first album of the band was done in the States somewhere, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, we do have connections.
Full
But
circle. Yeah.
well, I won't say America, but the damn economy comes from Canada, and our merch is going to be coming out from Canada as well. So yeah, everything's going to be over on the continent, and yeah, we're
Cool.
looking at tours on the southern continent, so South America. So you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Are there like certain places in the world where like you've noticed that people are like you have a bigger fan base? You know,
our biggest fan base is Germany.
Germany, really?
Yeah, and yeah, we got Belgium and Holland as well. It's yeah, Germany is big metal fans. Yeah,
Oh yeah, totally,
yeah,
definitely, definitely.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Um, Now I
Well,
do
that's
think. Sorry.
yeah. I was going to say I've got a little story there, if you like.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
How Chris got into the band.
Yes.
Because I helped him build his studio down in Deal, which he had it at the end. And after a while, he was going to go out to Bang Your Head Festival in Germany with his manager to try and drum up a bit of business for the studio. He said, "Would you like to come?" There I was with my suitcase ready. Yes, please, I'm coming. So yeah, so I went out to Bang Your Head with him. And of course, he had AAA, so we all had AAA. We could walk round the site, and we were watching Heaven and Hell with Dio, and there was a gallery up on the side of the stage, that you could go to, and we was up there. I was standing there with Chris, and this guy from this German radio company, come up to me and said, "Are you from Moore?" I looked sideways. Yes. "We'd love you to come over here and play." Uh, I said, "I've got a problem there." I said, the guitarist has had 6 strokes, so I haven't got anybody to play. And Chris said, "I'll play guitar for you." I said, "Okay, I'll try and sort it out for you." So that was how it happened.
Just like
I,
that. Wow.
so so I, so later on in the evening, after we'd seen all the bands and that, I pulled to Chris one side. I said, "Are you serious about that?" He said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Okay, fine." He said, "But we've got to get as many old people out of the band as we can." I said, "Okay." So next day we were out to the festival ground, and Mike was singing with Praying Mantis then at the time. And he was out there. I tapped him on the shoulder. "What are you doing here?" I told him. I told him the scenario, with Chris and that, because Mike and I had already done an album. Well, no, it wasn't an album. We'd done an EP with Chris, so he knew Chris. We recorded with him in another little band. I said what was going down. I said, "So if we come over here and play this festival with Moore, are you in?" He says, "Yes, I am." So I said to Chris, "That's one." I went down backstage and got my phone out. And I got the drummer. Um, I had his number on there, and so I phoned him, Andy John Burton. So I phoned him from Germany. I said, "This is what's going down. Are you interested?" "Yes, please." And that was it. That's how it got back together with Chris. That is exactly how it happened.
That was one of the most casual reunion stories I think I've ever heard in my life. Just
It's true,
walking
though. It's
around.
true.
Yeah. I do truly think More is one of the like best new wave of British heavy metal bands. Definitely one of
Thank
the
you. I'll
most
send you a check in
underrated.
the post.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah. Send it to this address, please.
No
Um,
problem.
Now, I'd love to know, like, what is your relationship with other new wave of British heavy metal groups?
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, yeah, we go on with all. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. We always meet up. In fact, we did a little festival down in France in Phoenix just before Christmas. And Ghost School were down there. I know them very well. Yeah, we had a good old hug and "How are you?" and everything. It was good fun. Yeah. And Tank were down there as well. So yeah, no, we get
Yeah.
on fine. Yeah.
Are there
But,
any
but, but we don't we are not prima donnas. We turn up
yes.
when we're told to turn up. We do our job, and that's it. There's no prevarication. There's no, none of this. It really isn't. No, and that's it. Um, you're there to do a job
True.
foremost. You do it. That's why you rehearse so much because people are planning to see you. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And as a fan, it's like tickets are just so expensive nowadays. it's just and
I couldn't
merch and
afford to
everything.
go.
Right. It's like I have to take
It's
out
a good
a
job I play.
right. Yeah, I have to take out my some of my life savings to see a band nowadays.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. So it's really great to see that you guys it's like worth the money. You guys put in the effort and time. I'd love for you like, to talk about this. I feel like new album is like, it's kind of like proto thrash metal in a sense because the whole
Yeah,
genre of thrash pretty much was inspired
yeah.
from it. What is your opinion on thrash metal as like a genre?
Sorry?
What is your opinion on thrash metal as like a genre of music?
It's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, Anvil were pre sort of thrash, and they were very heavy with double bass drums and everything. In fact, they were the first band into Chris's studio when we finished building it. So yeah, it's okay. It's like, what can I say? And there was punk before that, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
punk was very raw. I think thrash is very more raw as well. Yeah, but I just like what we do.
Right. There's just so many similarities. Like even
Yeah.
the new wave of British heavy metal, I feel like took some from punk. There's a
Well,
lot of
the thing
rawness.
about that's right, that's right. But it's the thing about that is it's originally riff based songs, and a lot of bands don't do the riffage, as I call it, riffage and roughage. And yeah, it's great, and because we had an American band playing before us, and they said they said you were really good, and you played all those riffs and that. I said, yeah, well, that's what the music is, and it was tight, but the Americans were not doing it. So yeah, it was based around riff stuff. See, I come from it because I'm so old. I originally, I was doing, what can I say, soul music and that, because metal hadn't been invented when I started playing. I was doing soul and all that, and I come up through that, and then did blues, and then progressed into metal because that was the next progression.
And it just naturally happened.
Yeah, that's right,
It's some of
exactly.
the
Yeah,
best metal where it's like not even purposeful.
yeah,
I
that's
think.
right.
Now, to wrap up here, I would just love to know, like, three records, pretty solid discography. Do you see the band putting out a fourth in the at when it comes to the entire career of the band, or do you think just stick with the third one and just see what the future holds?
Well, I can let a little bit of a secret out
Okay,
that Dan wants to record the next one.
really
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's we haven't got this one out there yet, but yeah. So we are talking about it. Put it that
That's
way.
crazy. In a couple of years, you can double the discography. That'd be awesome to see.
If I'm still alive, yes.
Well, let's hope. Please come to
Yeah.
the U.S. before then. Would love to
Well,
see you.
send me my ticket and green card, and I'll be over.
Yeah, we'll set up a visa. We'll take care of it. Well, what's the general future of More look like right now?
Well, as I say, we're doing the business side, and
Yep.
he's going to, and Dan is trying to get us on as many festivals as he can next year. And the trouble is they're mostly booked up. So what we're going to be doing is standing by to go out and do as many as we can. I can't let anything other secrets out, but there is a big promotion company who's going to be involved with the promotion of the album that also has put on, who also does very large world tours for bands, promotes them, and large festivals. I can't tell you any more than that, but we're going to try and get out there and promote this album as much as we can, and that will mean playing as much live as
Awesome.
we can. Yeah,
Well,
that's
all
it.
the publicity is very deserved. Um,
Okay, I'd like to mention one thing. We
right.
will be doing a gig in May. I'm not quite sure the date. I know it's a pub, but it's the Cart and Horses in London, which is the Iron Maiden pub, right? And Iron Maiden started there, and they sometimes play there. Steve sometimes plays there with this other band, and we're doing a benefit gig there for Paul Mario Day, the original singer that sadly died in Australia a few months ago. So we will be there. So anybody who would love to come along to support that cause, because we will be doing it for nothing, we'd like to see you.
Anyone in the area, please
Yeah,
go
yeah,
see more.
yeah. And
Baz,
there's
great.
going to be loads of other bands on you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I really wish I was across the pond right now because I'm
I'll
feeling
send you
left
a
out.
ticket.
Yes, thank you. I'll figure it out. I'll go by boat, whatever I can do,
That's
jet
it.
ski.
Okay.
Baz, great meeting you, man. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
on.
Okay. Cheers, Brandon.
Thank you. I'm Brandon
Thank you.
Battick, and this has been Disturbing the Priest.
It's death! I've just seen death!